Of all the years that I've been a fan of the UFC, I've never been one to debate any of the matchmaking. But in light of some recent news, we just got an announcement from Dana White saying Tony Ferguson will be fighting Paddy Pimblett at 155 in December. And I have to let my thoughts out on this. So Paddy Pimblett and Tony Ferguson are set to fight at UFC 296 on December 16th. And the UFC community, MMA community, has kind of gone up in a bit of a debate on whether or not this is a good fight or whether this should have even been made. I too am on the fence on whether this is a good idea for Tony or this is a good idea for Paddy. And I've been getting both sides of the spectrum where people are saying Tony's on a 6-fight losing skid. If he loses this against Paddy, he's definitely done. There is no way that he can beat anyone in the upper echelon of the division. And then on the other side, we've had people saying that if Paddy can beat this guy, then it cements him coming up as a prospect in the lightweight division. But after looking at both sides, it's just an odd match in general. We have Tony Ferguson, who's lost 6 of his past fights, and we got Paddy Pimblett, who's now on the rise. I think he's won 5 of his last fights. And the last one we can all debate and say whether it was a win or not. And we could either give it to Jared Gordon and take that win away. But we can't take away the fact that he has won more than Tony Ferguson has won his last 6. But that's where there's this big debate. Tony Ferguson is coming up on 40 years old. He's lost 6 of his last fights. He has not looked good in any of these last 3, let's say the last 3 fights. The best looking fight he came out in was that Michael Chandler fight. That first round was honestly a solid, amazing first round, but then he gets knocked out with a
kick to the face! Kick to the face! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That was one thing we have never seen before. No one has ever knocked out Tony Ferguson, and certainly not with one shot.
Nobody has stopped Tony Ferguson like that.
So of his last 6 fights, only in the last 3, he's just looked
really, really bad.
But then when we talk about Paddy and we look back at what Paddy has done, he hasn't really accomplished much of what he thought he said he was going to do when he came in. He said he was going to be
the new cash cow. I'm the new main man on the UFC roster.
And none of his performances that he's put on have made him solidified like that. So maybe going against a legend like Tony Ferguson, though Tony Ferguson is now almost 40 on the skid, maybe this will push Paddy to that next level while dropping Tony and pushing him closer to retirement, because it looks like everyone, including most of the MMA community, is saying that it's about time for Tony Ferguson to retire. So we're just in this weird spot where we have this young 20-something year old guy coming to be a 40-year-old guy who's done double what he's done ever and has fought level of competition that Paddy Pimblett will maybe never see, because Paddy's technicality and his skills are just not there yet. But then when we think about it, if Tony wins this fight, this could bring him back into a contention for maybe moving up the ranks again. If that's what his plan is, again, like, he's nearing 40, it's close to retirement. Does he think he has another belt? Can he pull off another belt run like Glover Teixeira did when he was 42? We've seen that it's possible. Will it be possible for Tony? Who knows? Then on the other side, we got Paddy. Will Paddy be good enough to start bringing his stock up again? Because after that Jared Gordon win and the calling of Dana to give him 50 G's, it made his stock fall tremendously. And honestly, it made a lot of the MMA community not care about watching Paddy. But if he wins, then he could potentially steal the Tony Ferguson fans and make us want to watch him again. And see, this is where this fight, though it's like so contentious and it's like, why would you make this fight? It's also like,
oh, now I see. Now I get it.
There's star power, there's Tony Ferguson power, there's Paddy Pimblett power, and we put them in one arena together. There's no way that we as MMA fans are not gonna want to watch. Like, look at us, we're all talking about it now. So, man, it's just an odd matchmaking. But I'll be there watching, and you know, I'm probably gonna call it too. So stick around on the channel, we'll check it out. But let me know what you think about this fight. Is this a good fight for the UFC? Should they have made this? Was this a smart move? Is this a smart move for Tony? Smart move for Paddy? What is there to gain for both? I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. Like the video, share, subscribe, seize the day. Life short or whatever. So whatever. Bye.